high noon. It's Monday, the 27th of February, 2023. And in some people's eyes, this might be the most controversial edition of Bethea's Byte Reloaded that I've ever done live. So with that, I want to say to everyone watching, everyone that'll catch the replay, I do this with no offense to anyone. I'm just here to provide information, to make sure what I present here doesn't happen to anyone else. That being said, Bethea's Byte Reloaded begins now. So good to have everybody joining me for this edition of Bethea's Byte Reloaded. I'm Ernest Bethea, the last outlaw, and I've got Red Bull, Crime and Coffee in the chat. How you doing? Today, as I said at the outset, this may be one of the more controversial editions of Bethea's Byte Reloaded that I've ever done. Earlier before this day got here, I've had a person who claimed to be associated with this case doing everything she possibly could to keep me from bringing this information out. Thanks for the support, Red Bull. I am saying to everybody within earshot of my voice, one, I'm here to give you the most accurate accounts of this case that I can. That's the first thing you need to know. Second thing you need to know, that I will have as I won't say exclusive, because this was done on another podcast as well, but I will bring you the confession by Edwin Lara himself. Edwin Lara is the young man who pled guilty to murdering 23-year-old Kaylee Sawyer. In fact, I'm going to share with all of you the notes that I have on this case before I even bring to you the confession. But mind you this, when I bring you the confession, I want you to know of this fact. The confession, the interview with police, The interview with police is 6 hours long. Local reporter, oh wow, Julie Van Cleef, wow. Oh wow. I mean, right before I, but you know what? Let me do this before I do anything. Let me. This is an exclusive. This will be an exclusive even to me because now I I am I am under a good bit of pressure now because I have Kaylee Sawyer's mother joining me, and I would love to have her in on here live to speak her truth. And while I go through all these all the notes that I have, she can confirm or deny and even correct. So Miss Van Cleef, if you would be so kind to join me, I promise you I will do this as accurate as possible. I am not here to sensationalize this. I am not here to make any kind of financial gain or any kind of personal gain. This is this is simply for informational purposes, and hopefully we can come up with some steps to make sure something like this never again happens to anyone. I left the link in the chat. And as I'm preparing to hopefully to be joined by Mrs. Julie Van Cleef, Kaylee Sawyer's mother, I am going to pull up the notes that I was able to compile. And this is what I have. Kaylee Sawyer was a 23-year-old student at Central Oregon Community College in Bend, Oregon. On July 24th, 2016, she went out with friends and never returned home. Her family reported her missing and a massive search effort began. And again, if I'm correct in all this, I would love to have Mrs. Van Cleef tell me so. If not, I would love to have her tell me so. All right. During the investigation, the police had discovered that Kaylee had been, well, according to the notes I have, I'm now again, I'm asking her to correct me if I'm wrong. During the investigation, police discovered that Kaylee had been walking home when she was abducted by Edwin Lara, a security guard at the college. Lara was married with children and had no previous criminal record. He was working his regular night shift when he saw Kaylee walking alone and decided to follow her. Short and simple, Lara abducted Kaylee and took her to a remote location where he sexually assaulted and killed her, then dumped her body in a canyon near his family's home in nearby Redmond, Oregon. The trial actually wasn't a trial at all. He was arrested and charged with murder, kidnapping, and sexual assault. He initially pled not guilty, but later changed his plea to guilty in exchange for the prosecution agreeing not to seek the death penalty. The criminal case only lasted 4 days, according to these notes. Started on January 29th of 2018. The prosecution presented its evidence, including DNA and surveillance footage that showed Lara's guilt. The defense argued that Lara was not responsible for his actions due to mental illness. Lara was found guilty of aggravated murder, kidnapping, and sexual assault. He was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Kaylee's murder had a profound impact on the community, that her family and friends were devastated by her loss, and the community rallied around them in support. The case also sparked discussions about campus safety and the need for better security measures. Yes, it was a tragic and senseless act of violence that shook the community of Bend, Oregon, and the Edwin Lara's conviction provided some measure of justice for Kaylee and her family, but it also highlighted the need for greater attention to issues of mental health and campus safety. Now, those. That's from the notes I gathered, and again, I ask, oh, oh, let's see. No children? Okay, that's good. That's good. And Red Bull says she couldn't even watch the interrogation when he said, "I won't tell until I move my blood boiled." Well, let's see. Didn't go to court. It was a plea bargain. Right, right. That I believe because I caught that. I caught that in the confession. He agreed to plead guilty to killing her while he stole her purse. Okay, you know, I'm sorry. I will have to find. I'm gonna have to find this right now. That the truth actually comes out in the confession. Really, there was like Ms. Van Cleef says there was no court case because of the confession. Now I'm going to bring that I'm going to bring that to you all right now. 38 38 minutes of this is what this video came down to. Now the the actual interview with the police took all of 6 hours, but local reporter for KGW News and podcast host Ashley Korsland was able to bring that down to a 38-minute video of Edwin Lara just trying to get what he wants in this case. In this, it's all about he wasn't gonna make any kind of confession as to where Kaylee's body was until he could go back home. His words, not mine. I I am quoting. I am saying that directly because I am saying that directly because of what I've heard in the video. And let's see, Ms. Van Cleef. He would not plead to a sex crime. This is why we did Dateline. That way, everyone knows he is a murder. He is a murderer who raped her as she lay dying. Wow. You see, this is why. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I totally agree with Red Bull. I mean, this is such a heart wrenching story. I wish you would be able to come up with me on the panel. I would love to pick your brain, ma'am, as far as with more insight that you have. And while that is being set up, I'm going to set up the confession. Yeah, you don't have. Yeah, you're right. You're right on Red Bull. She doesn't have to show her face, just like I don't have to show mine. That's like Bobby Brown would say. That's my prerogative. This is the link. All you would have to do is copy and paste it into a new tab or browser window. In the meantime, as I begin, I want to give you all fair warning. What you may hear in this case is absolutely disturbing. First off, before I even get to share this, I want to welcome. This is exclusive for me. I want to welcome Miss Julie Van Cleef to Bethea's Byte Reloaded. How are you, ma'am? Miss Julie, can you hear me? Apparently not. Miss Julie? Okay, while we try to get the audio situation set up for Miss Julie Van Cleef, I'm going to set up the I'm going to set up for the Edwin Lara's confession. This is courtesy of KGW's podcast, Urge to Kill. And I want to give you fair warning, ladies and gentlemen. What you will hear coming from the mouth of Edwin Lara is considered disturbing. It was disturbing to me for the bit I heard it. And I'll even go as far as give you the old TV warning. So if you're going to watch, then like I said, the TV warning would be that viewer discretion is strongly advised. Meaning, if you have the stomach to watch this, then go right ahead. If you don't, I understand. And those who plan on watching this replay, you can skip over this next 38 minutes. So there it is. I've said it. Here we are now with Edwin Lara's confession.
Okay, it's recording.
Okay.
Is he working off a list of questions?
What's that?
Is he working off a list of questions?
No, that's all recording.
You're all right.
Video.
I thought you was asking for. I thought you were asking for a help.
You
would,
You
don't
help,
you?
hey.
Yeah, absolutely.
I got gloves on. It's large.
All right, partner. On you want to sit? Have a seat there. Thank you.
Right over there, Edwin.
This office right here. Where you guys are going. Okay.
You want, wherever you want, just tell me where you want to be set.
That's fine. I'll sit right here.
You know what you're saying.
Okay, thank you. Hello, sir.
Hi,
My name is Sergeant Beckwith.
I'm Matt.
wait, I shouldn't introduce myself because you guys know me.
We know a little bit, right? So a couple things. We got some housekeeping items to talk about
Okay.
before we start talking about things. Those are going to be your Miranda rights and your right to counselor.
Okay.
And then I wanted to talk to you, just to let you know where I'm coming from, because it sounds like you've done a lot of good things, even to this point. And so we're not really concerned about the MBA at this point. It's going to be about, finding her. Okay. So, but before we do that, do you have any questions for me on the onset before I advise you of some things? Because I'm going to advise you of your Miranda rights and your consular rights.
Okay.
Right. Before we start talking about things at all, but as far as questions you have before we get into that, I'm all my cards on the table kind of guy. Okay, I'm not going to come here and try to be all tricky or whatever. Detective McLaughlin's the same way. Okay.
Well, all I got to say is that I want to go home.
Okay.
And I'm going to do everything possible to go home.
Yes, sir. And home meaning Oregon.
Yes.
Okay.
Of course.
Because
Home, right?
yeah, we're working on that as well. Okay. So that's something we're working on. Let's see here.
Note how
Mac,
he's
why don't
already
you
one
just
track
give us
minded.
you guys?
He wants to go home.
So, Edwin, at this point in time, I do want to let you know that the room is being video recorded. It's also being audio recorded. Just for the sake of being official, today's date is the 26th of July, 2016. I have about 12 hours. I'm Detective James McLaughlin. Present with me is Detective Sergeant Eric Beckwith with the Redmond Police Department. Edwin Enoch. Laura, is that right? Okay. So I want to let you know I'm recording the conversation so that you're aware of that, okay? Is there any questions about this conversation being recorded at all?
No.
Okay. Just so you know, initially,
Let me back up just a little bit.
yeah. We're going to ask you some questions about the MVA, that stands for the motor vehicle accident, all that stuff, okay? Before we do so, I'm going to advise you of at least your Miranda rights before he gets into the consulate information section. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to speak to an attorney and have him or her present with you while you're being questioned. If you can't afford to hire an attorney, one will be appointed before any questioning if you wish, okay? Very important. Also, we're here to talk to you because we know that we've spent the last 16 hours talking to Isabel, finding out stuff about you with your family and those kinds of things. I know you got a heart that's probably pretty heavy and you want to tell some stuff about the vehicle accident, and that's why we're here, okay? So it's important that you hear what I just said to you. I want to make sure that you understand those rights that I just read to you.
I do.
Okay, sir.
I also have to read you, these are your consular rights, okay? So I'm going to read this directly verbatim. It says, as a non-U.S. citizen who's being arrested or detained, you may request that we notify your country's consular officers here in the United States of your situation. You may also communicate with your consular officers. A consular officer may be able to help you obtain legal representation and may contact your family and visit you in detention, among other things. If you want us to notify your consular's office, you can request this notification now or any time in the future. Do you want us to notify the consular's office at this time?
No.
Okay. All right, so here's the thing. I just want to get through the nitty-gritty. We have not been able to find Kaylee's body. Can you please help me find her body immediately before we start talking about anything else? The reason why I'm asking you that is I've done this a bunch of times.
I want to tell you where the body is.
Yeah.
I do. But I want to get home first.
Okay. So here's what I know about this. Hear me out, sir. We can't change what happened, the three of us in this room. And people will care more about what happens right now than what happened before. So we know that you've been talking to some people, et cetera, right? And because we have different jurisdictions, I can assure you that right now the DA's office is working on allowing us to take you back to Oregon, okay? But they're still working on that, okay? So in the meantime, we need to consider some things, okay? If this information gets to other people that you were like, hell yeah, I'm gonna tell you, but only until I get what I want, they might try to think of this about something different than what it is, right? And so what I've determined is, and we've looked at this a bunch of times, is I don't think you're a bad guy, right? I think that things have spun completely out of control, sir. Sir, am I right? Okay. But that being said, you know from your training and your education that we have a massive load of resources right now dedicated to one thing, and that's to serve the victim's family, okay? And they need that, right now. And so, I need you to remember that it doesn't matter so much about what happened, it's what you do now.
Yeah. And you know this, man.
Matt wants to do a map.
So before, can I say the story what happened first?
Yeah, as you're drawing, please, or whatever you'd like to do, sir. You want us to get you out of that stuff?
Highway from, yeah,
Okay, let me ask if we can get him out of this stuff so we can
the
drive.
highway from Redmond to Salem, that's 120, right?
I think it's 126.
126.
Yeah, we'll get you out of those things. Yeah.
We're working.
All right.
Checking the box.
So we're gonna get somebody to get you out of those, man. I mean, so that's highway
You know,
126.
126 highway,
Mm-hmm.
that's going towards Salem.
Correct.
Do you know that the Chutes River?
Shoots River.
That's-
Okay, are we
Chutes River.
closer to Redmond?
Closer to Redmond?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so about, I'm thinking maybe not even 10 miles. Just keep going. Okay. There's a mailbox right here. It reads 18700. It's right across it.
It's gonna be on the south side of the road. So if this is north, like the,
Yeah, that's north. It's gonna be on the south side.
okay. And this is gonna be east towards Redmond, correct? And this is gonna be west towards Sisters.
Okay with him to come.
Are you left or right-handed?
I'm right-handed.
This is a map he's driven.
Yeah.
This is the Deschutes River, Highway 126 from Redmond towards Sisters.
Yeah.
There's a mailbox with this number on
Yeah.
it. He said it's directly across from this mailbox on the south side of the highway. How far off the highway?
It's just right there. You'll see it right away.
It says, you'll see it right away.
Buried in the ditch.
Is it buried or?
It's not buried. It's
Just in the ditch itself?
just in the ditch.
Okay, south side of the highway across from that mailbox. Correct.
You're doing good, Edwin. You know what? This is not easy. Or you might be a little bit scared. We're going to hear what you have to say. We really, really want to. I'm thankful, and so is Sergeant Beckwith, that you know what the right thing to do is right now, and that's to help us locate her for her family, for the community, for us, for you, for your wife, all that good stuff, okay? So I'm thankful to you. I want to say that right away, that you hear what this man has to say and that you've got a heart inside of you. And I know, because I was in your house. I saw the Bible. I know you thumb through it a lot. I see that you've tithed for months consecutively. I know you have God in your heart, okay? And that's just not a trick. That's eternal, right? You know that. But I'm not talking about this moment. I'm talking about the big picture, okay? And so I appreciate your honesty.
So, what happened, man? What happened? Like the straight up, what happened?
So I was putting the signs up where there was an event going on. At
It's a
school,
college, yeah.
college. It's cyclist event or whatever. You know, I was in a hurry because I want to get out of here. And I was gonna turn south on College Way on the D4 lot. So I was gonna turn south on the do not enter area there. And I didn't see her. She was wearing all black. So I was in a hurry, so it was my fault. And I wasn't expecting anybody, you know, at that time of night, so I just turned I mean, I didn't hit her that hard. I just bumped her with the patrol car, bumped her with the front rack. And she fell down, and at first I thought, you know, was, oh, I killed her, you know, but I didn't hit her that hard. So I got off the car, and she was really drunk. And then she looks at me, and then she started screaming.
She started screaming,
Yeah.
or you did?
She did. So I panicked, and I just grabbed her by the throat and told her, shut up, shut up, shut up. So she passed out, put her on the back of the patrol car, drove her up the B12 lot, and then I was panicking, I didn't know what to do. She already seen me, she saw my face. So I opened the door, and that's when she came back. She started screaming again. So I grabbed the chokehold, and I was telling her, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up. She was just struggling to scream. So I threw her down, and I hit her with a rock on the head. After that, I dragged her body behind a tree there, and I hit her with another rock. And that's when I think she died, because I heard her breathing, her last breath. And then with her body there, I went to the Zama gym. I tried to wash off everything, all the dirt from my throat. I had a stain on my shirt. I was wearing the bike patrol shirt. I had a red stain. I couldn't take that off, so I started washing my pants and my boots on the Mizama gym. I went into the men's restroom right in front of the main entrance of the south entrance of Mizama. Then after being there, I just walked towards the women's gym or shower, and I went into the shower and I started washing off all the dirt from my pants. And then I looked at the watch and it was like 1:50 or whatever, and my shift was almost over. And I know Adam Nieder was in the office, so I'm like, hey, you know, I'm usually never late. I'm out of here when my shift ends, so I better get there. So I got there like around 2:01 or something like that. I was full of dirt, and he wanted to talk to me about something. And I wasn't facing him because I saw this scratch in my face. And I was scared that he was going to see it, because I knew that you guys were going to investigate us. I knew that for a fact, because I'm not dealing with stupid people, right?
Yes.
So I panicked, and you know, I just let him talk, and I acted like I was doing something on the computer, and I was just saying, oh, yes, yes. And I tried telling him something, but I was so nervous that I don't think he was able to understand me, what I was saying. He goes, what? And I said it again, and he wasn't able to understand me again. So at the end, I think he just left it like that. You know, he didn't ask me any more questions. But I don't think he realized anything bad, you know. I just think he probably thought I was tired or something. Because I told him, you know, I'm tired, I want to go home. Then, when I was walking out, I'm like, okay, I need to get rid of her, because if they find her up in the boy 12 lot, they're gonna know it was one of us, and it's gonna be me, because Adam was in the office, you know, all night long, doing some paperwork. So I drove back up there, I put her in my car, I grabbed a trash can first from the Boyle Education Center from the custodial room. I grabbed a trash can or trash bag. I drove up the hill again and just put her head inside the bag. Put her in the trunk of my car and just drove out of there.
Your personal car?
Yeah.
Which car's that?
The Nissan. You guys haven't found that yet?
Yeah, we found it.
Okay.
But it's not fair for me to put words in your mouth, you know? So I gotta ask. So what happened next?
So I drove her to a ditch by close to my parents' house, and she was kind of heavy, you know. So I just grabbed her and pretty much ripped everything off her, like her clothes. I threw her in the ditch, and then I went back home and I was like, okay, they gotta find her there pretty quick. So I gotta move her and put her somewhere else that they're not gonna be able to find her. So next day, actually it was the following night, while my wife was sleeping, I just got up without her noticing that I was, that I left, and I went to move the body again.
To its location that you told us.
Location.
The first place where you put Kaylee,
I think it's...
is it near your parents? Like how close to your parents' house?
So the street is Hemlock, I think it is.
Helmholtz?
Helmholtz. Yes, Helmholtz and Antler, right in the corner. There is a little, I don't know what that, I think it might be a little creek or a lake or something right there, so pretty close to that. So I just threw her body right there, and then I came back following night and just dumped her. And at this time I was feeling really bad, because I've never killed anybody, and I feel really bad about her, about the girl. She didn't deserve to die. And I was feeling really bad about what I went to. Because she's my everything. And I know that most likely I will die in prison, And that's gonna be one of the things that I'm gonna take in my heart. Isn't it? And the regret of killing this girl. And I know this is being recorded, and apologize to the parents. To the dad, I know the dad has been looking for her non-stop. I apologize. She looked like a really nice girl, and she didn't deserve what I did to her. So, following day after I moved her body, the second time, or the first time, the second time I should say, I woke up with this thing in my heart, like heavy, and I'm like, so I knew that from the moment I told my wife she's going to turn me in, because I know her. And she loves her job, and she loves what she's doing now, and I knew she was gonna do it, no matter how much she loves me. So I told her with that purpose. I told her, I killed this girl, I'm gonna walk out of here, I'm gonna drive out of here, you do your thing. She's like, why are you putting me in that spot? I'm like, because I know you're gonna do the right thing. I know you're not gonna be my accomplice, because you're not that type of woman. So she kept telling me, please don't leave, just yourself in, turn yourself in. And I'm like, I don't want to spend the rest of my life in prison. Yeah. I don't want to get death penalty. I don't want that like that.
Did you have some of Kaylee's stuff at the house?
Yeah.
Can you tell me about that, please?
Okay, so, so I grabbed it from the patrol car and I put it in my car with the intention of getting rid of it because I actually grabbed her phone from the purse with my bare hands. I didn't use any gloves. So I was scared that my fingerprints were going to be all over that purse. So I grabbed the purse and I put it in my car because I'm like, well, I don't think there's fingerprints in her body. You know, but there's fingerprints on the purse, I cannot leave the purse here. So I grabbed the purse, and when I was driving out of the campus on Portland Avenue, I threw the phone on the Chutes River. Is that the Chutes River? On the park?
Yes.
So I threw the phone in the river.
Which phone is that?
Her phone.
Where was it?
It was in her purse.
Why
Yeah.
did you throw it in the river?
Because they were gonna find it, you know, if I throw it somewhere else. And I mean, I knew sooner or later I was gonna get caught. And you know, for a fact. You know, and
You was trying to buy some time?
I was trying to buy some time so I can say bye to my family, I guess.
Did you talk to your family after this?
Yeah.
How'd that go?
Not so good. My grandpa told me that I screwed up my life. My mom and dad couldn't believe it, or my stepdad, I should say. He's like my dad. Couldn't believe it. You know, they were very concerned about me. My wife just kept telling me to stop what you're doing, turn yourself in, where you at.
So a couple things you need to understand, and we're finally getting to the real problem here, we really are, is you knew she was never getting out the car the moment you shut that door. Well, let me finish. You need to let me finish, right? Because I know this, okay? Because you said we were hookers. She's like, no. Immediately you go to give me your purse and your phone.
Well, I knew she wasn't gonna get out.
She wasn't gonna survive that encounter, was she?
No, it
Because
was
you can't rape her and let her live, can you?
And she can't make a phone call if you have it.
I wasn't gonna rape her.
Well, you can't let her live.
Edwin, we're missing something here, man.
Look, yeah, I know what you guys are thinking, and it makes perfect sense. It does.
Because
Why would you
I know
ask?
where you got-
Why would you ask for her purse? What was in your head that made you want her purse?
Because, you know,
Just in case she had a gun, she could defend
was-
herself.
She was gonna use her phone.
to call 911, call for help.
So, but listen to this. According to your story, this is where it does not make sense. If your intent isn't already there to do some kind of harm or some kind of evil to her, some friggin' evil that's there, bro. It's there. You just gotta face it down, man. You can't cower away from it. You face that damn thing down right now. If you know the only way, if you don't have intent in her head, your thought is, I gotta keep that phone away from her because she's gonna call for help before anything bad's even happened. You've already made a decision. Am I right or am I wrong? Help me.
So, I made the decision at that time to silence her.
To kill her.
I-
Let's be real, when you say
Yeah.
silence her, you mean kill her, is that correct? Okay.
Because
When did you make that decision?
when she started screaming, because she had seen my face.
But you already grabbed her phone. You already kept her away from making a call for help or contacting someone. So you're already preserving yourself. So I'm thinking it's before, when you ask for the purse, I think you already know in your head, I'm going to silence her. I'm going to kill her. Why else would you ask?
So, when she gave me her, like she had her phone, because I knew her phone was back there. Like it just clicked on my head, and I put her purse back there. Her phone is in there, you know. So I told her, give me purse. So then
Tell me
she-
exactly how you said, give me your purse. Say it exactly how you said it,
Okay, so I went, give me your fucking purse,
just like that.
just like that.
Okay.
So she hands over the purse, and I'm like, your phone is not in here, and she goes, yes it is. So I start digging in the purse with this hand, and I find the phone, and it's there. So, and, you know, very relieved, but at this time she's struggling with the door, and I'm telling her, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up.
You know why you felt relieved when you found that phone? You know why? Tell me why you felt
She
relieved.
wasn't calling her up
And she was never gonna give away.
because she had seen my face already.
It was already seen your face. And you already knew what you were gonna do.
No.
You were gonna silence her, you already told us that.
Well, yeah, but
Why else would you grab her phone?
because from the moment, that's when I knew that she wasn't a hooker. You know,
And she's gonna tell. She's gonna say something.
if I let her out of the car, she's gonna go say, hey, you know, a security guard raped me or something.
Do you have dominion over a woman?
Dominion?
Mm-hmm. Dominant. Is there anything about her life that means less than yours? Okay.
But you told us earlier when you were trying to carjack people in Salem, you wanted a woman who was weaker.
Weaker woman, because I knew a guy was gonna fight me and I didn't want to kill anybody.
Right? So you have dominion.
I don't
What
necessarily.
I guess what I'm getting at with that question is that for at some point or another, something as minor as an offensive comment, are you a hooker? I mean, honestly, what we've approached there is you possibly losing your job for offending somebody. Okay, people are offended every day. People lose their job for offending people every day. That all of a sudden became more important than the life of a human being that you say is
Because
equal.
I think she honestly thought that I was gonna do something.
You were, man. And when that's
Because-
the problem. Right now, you were. You absolutely
At first I wasn't.
Yes, you were.
No, I wasn't.
Well,
Sir,
sir.
let me back up. Let's just settle this right now. When you saw that girl and you picked her up, were your intentions to help her because you're a security guard on the campus and people look up to you? Was your intent to find some way to help her? Or was your intent to find a way to hurt her, either by paying for sex or taking sex? And when things went south, you knew you had to kill her because now the person she looks to for safety and security wants something from her that she doesn't want to give him.
So when I picked her up, because you know, usually when we help someone, we call her on the radio.
Did you call her on the radio?
No, because I thought she was a hooker. And I asked why.
That's why I didn't call her on the radio.
That's why I didn't call her on the radio. And when I realized she wasn't a hooker, I felt discovered. Oh, crap. You know, now she's gonna go tell the whole world that I was looking for sex.
Oh, wow, how weird would that be for a dude to be looking for sex? See what I'm saying? I mean, that's not that bad,
Dudes
right?
look for sex.
Dudes look for sex.
Well, yeah, but not a security guard that is supposed to protect.
Well,
I think you just said it, man.
Another random dude walking the street.
So are we lucky in the fact that the first time you can't control your urge to have sex with a beautiful woman, that we catch you and you give up and we find you, et cetera, et cetera? I don't believe so. I believe there's been instances in the past that maybe you were close, something that was happened, well, maybe something's gonna happen here, and you backed away, whatever. Has there ever been a time like that?
and what he means by take it into consideration is this, man. Bluntly, you've betrayed that trust. Okay? The sound that you heard after the strike of the first rock, before you hit her with the second, is agonal breathing, and you know this. It's the sound of life leaving her body. It's the sound of the life God breathed into her, leaving her, and her life being no more, going away, being done. It's the sound of everyone loving her, mourning. It's the sound of her blood crying out from the friggin' earth. Right? You know this. It's Cain and Abel. No. No. You know what it is? You need to hear it though, okay? I respect you enough, Edwin, at this point, that I've asked you for detail, and now I'm gonna give you my own, okay? Those are the cold hard facts. Does God still love you? Will he forgive you? Will he bring you back into his heart? Will he? Questions you have to answer for yourself. But the truth of the matter is that her blood cries out, man, that her life is gone. It will never be replaced. The truth of the fact is this: what you mistook for a hooker was an absolute angel, was the apple of her mom and dad's eye, was the breath that they breathed, that they spent and cultivated all their life raising and growing. And she is gone forever with your semen all over her. That's the truth, man. Okay? It's brutal. It's hard to say. It's hard to sit in here. But you got to face it before you can look your God in the eye and ask for that forgiveness and be able to receive it. That's the heart I want to see in that letter. Not graphic depictions, but the heart of a man broken, right? That you look and you can see what you've done. And you can begin to rebuild. We have love, mercy, compassion, right? Vastly different than rage, even in fear, fight or flight, right? Evil. Vastly different. Am I right? You've known some love in your heart, right? You love things.
This is why I feel like this.
Mhm. Yeah.
Because evil was not for me.
Right.
Somehow got a hold of me.
I'm wondering, for me, for the community, for the people struggling to try to understand, this doesn't grow to this unless it's cultivated, right? Somewhat, normally, in my experience, I don't see evil manifest.
From one day to the next.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I actually read books
I
about
see it.
it.
I see it watered. I see it grow. I see it cultivated, and then I see it manifest into real darkness, right? That affects a lot of other people inside you, and there's nobody else in there, right? There's nobody else in there. I can only guess, but there had to be some kind of idea or clue. Or let me rephrase that. Was there some kind of idea or clue inside of you that grew with some rage? Maybe that embraced that. Maybe that believed that you were entitled to that. Therefore, it manifested the way it did. Anything in there that you can help me out with to help other people understand, to help the people around us that we report to, that we talk to, the community at large understand.
So I think all throughout my life I have struggled with somehow the urge to kill. But what has helped me not develop that, in a sense, was when I married my wife. It kind of dissipated because I had something to look forward to. Before that, I didn't have nothing to look forward to.
Is this addressed to Dad?
Yeah, the last one is for CLCC.
Okay. I think it would play pretty well on recording if we read this out loud. It might show some of your emotion. Might show.
Want me to read it?
I would love you to read it. Thank you, sir.
I've been trying to ask Katie for forgiveness, but I don't think her soul hears my crying because God doesn't allow the devil to talk to angels. However, I know Katie hears you, and if you find it within your heart, Please ask her to forgive me. Please, I beg you. Please. I know that I will spend the rest of my life asking God to forgive me, but I don't think He will. Sir, this is directed to her dad. I am not sure what your name is, but I know for a fact that you love your daughter. I read something that you were desperately looking for her, and that touched the little heart I have within me. I say a little heart, a little bit, because a man like me don't have a heart. Please forgive me, Spirit. Please forgive me, and please ask your wife to forgive me too. I fail you. I fail my community. I fail everyone, including my family. I am really sorry. I beg you. A man like me doesn't deserve the job I had, and I will never have it again. The COCC. No one has to pay for my evil doing. Every officer on the campus are great men and women. I am sorry to my community. I am sorry because I fail you. I am sorry for wearing the badge. I am sorry for ever being part of CPS. I ask the college and community to forgive me. I am sorry, Jim Bennett. I fail you. May Kaylee Sawyer rest in peace now.
Ladies and gentlemen, whoever, to all of you who sat through that confession, I want to let you know that was only 38 minutes in length, condensed by local station KGW Channel 8. And my shout out to them and reporter Ashley Korsland, who also hosts the podcast Urge to Kill. Like I said, that was only 38 minutes in length. The actual interrogation took all of, you ready for this? 6 hours. And in those 6 hours, Edwin Lara changed his story several times. Yes, it's tragic. Yes, it's heart-wrenching. It's heartbreaking. But I'm here to tell you all, it can be prevented. There are ways that it can be prevented. One such method I can tell you, if you're going to travel in groups. Be careful and aware of your surroundings, because the people you believe you can trust are not always so trustworthy. I mean, look at Lara. He's supposed to be a member of campus security. A member of campus security. I really can't say much more. Or, but I do extend my condolences to the family, friends, and loved ones of Kaylee Sawyer. This indeed was the most senseless act of violence, senseless act of rage. And Edwin Lara, I honestly do hope that the prison you're in right now, you're rotting in it. Ladies and gentlemen, again, I apologize to all those who had to go through this tragedy again, or reliving that confession all over again. I wasn't doing it to sensationalize anything. I was here to make sure that this information got out, and we begin to come up with solutions to prevent this sort of tragedy from ever happening again. Talk to your loved ones. Let them know that you care about them. Let them know that you're always going to be there for them. And let them know that everything that you're telling them out of their own best interest. More information from Mrs. Van Cleef. She said that he also killed Andreas and shot a man when he tried to steal his car and carjack the family. And his stepfather is also wanted for molesting a young girl. Mrs. Van Cleef, like I just said a minute ago. Wait, what? Cousins is also wanted for helping to move Kaylee. So that's aiding and abetting right then. Bottom line, if they're not all in prison, and I know Edwin Lara himself is, if they're not all in prison, they should be. I always say that these monsters need to be buried underneath the prison. But that's the way. That's just always been my thinking. If you're guilty and you're convicted of the crime, you should be buried underneath the jail. Ms. Van Cleef, I want to thank you for providing me with with vital information for this podcast. Thank you for correcting me on things that I may have wrong. I appreciate you. I appreciate everyone for watching. And again, if you went through 38 minutes of that confession, 38 minutes that was condensed down from a 6-hour interrogation, you have all my respect in the world, because that is really the kind of thing no one should subject themselves to. Kaylee should be thriving this day. She should be, as we like to say, living her best life. And we are lucky, Mrs. Van Cleef says, because even if our governor tries to change his sentence, he also has a federal life sentence, so he will never get out. I believe that wholeheartedly. But I don't want to get into politics. I really don't want to get into politics, but I want to be that person who believes that Governor Kotek will not change his state sentence. But then again, he's like you said, he's serving a federal sentence, so the chances of him seeing the light of day are nil. And this is sad. She would turn 30 on March 2nd. March 2nd. Again, Mrs. Van Cleve, I say once again from the bottom of my heart, you have my deepest condolences. I will keep you and your family in my prayers. I will do everything to honor Kaylee's memory as I do each podcast, and telling everybody, stay safe, stay together, and be careful. That's all I can do. That's all I can tell you. That's all I've got for this edition of Bethea's Byte Reloaded, this deep dive into the brutal murder of Kaylee Sawyer. One other thing. She does have a law named after her. Kaylee's Law. That's good to know. That is good to know. Thank you again, Mrs. Van Cleef. You've been very, very, very helpful to me. Thank you, everyone who watches this live. Thank you for watching on the replay. I will be back in a couple of days with another live Bethea's Byte. If you need to find out what's going on, then check the description. Check my YouTube community tab. Follow me on Facebook, on Twitter, Instagram, the works. You know how we do. But again, this is what needs to be done, and I'll be sure to make sure to help the missing come home and to make sure that justice is served. My name is Ernest Bethea, the last outlaw. This is Bethea's Byte, and until we meet again, you all know what to do. Bite this. Hey guys, this is the last outlaw. I send you all a million thank yous for all the love and support of Bethea's Byte Reloaded. I know I've said this before, but it bears being repeated. Without you, this channel does not run. So again, a million times over, I thank you. I'd like you to do something for me. If you enjoyed this video, or you want to give your feedback on anything that was discussed or shown, I'd like you to do the following. Give the video a like. It helps to get the information out to everyone who may have information leading to getting justice for the victims and or bringing the missing home safe. If you're not subscribed to the channel yet, what are you waiting for? Hit the subscribe button and let's join in this fight together. Be sure to hit the notification bell. That way you'll be notified of future videos, live and pre-recorded. The real game changer is when you click the share button. Send this and videos like it all over your social media. The more eyes and ears on this channel, the better the chances of getting justice for the families of the victims and bringing the missing home. Of course you're going to have your say as well, so be sure to drop a comment. I just ask you to keep it clean and civil. Remember, we are about getting justice, not arguing over who's right or wrong in a debate. Don't forget to follow Bethea's Byte Reloaded all over social media. On Facebook at Bethea's Byte Reloaded TC. On Twitter at EKB316. On YouTube at Bethea's Byte Reloaded, with and without the punctuation marks. On Instagram at EB The Last Outlaw. On TikTok at King of Hearts 316 2021. Email me at kingofhearts316_09 at outlook.com. Hit me up on the message forum at www.betheasbyte.com. This is your home for news, opinions, debates, your voice, and justice served. This is Bethea's Byte, and it's reloaded.